Hi, my name is Suzi Kinsella. I'm better known as Suzi Spirit Sensitive, and for the last 3 years I've been living and working in a haunted motel. And these are my paranormal files. Okay, so anyone who knows me knows that I'm no stranger to paranormal events, paranormal activity, being touched, hearing things, all this type of stuff. So I've been very sensitive to spirits since I was a young child. So working here was another great experience to kind of open up and sense new things and all that stuff. So this collection of stories is about the boy who's been seen here on this premises. So the first paranormal story around the boy being seen here involved a guest. So it started like any other day. I was in the kitchen doing my work, doing a bit of cleaning. I also run the reception as well, so answering the phone. A lady came to the desk and I checked her in, showed her down to her room, everything was fine. So a couple of hours later, I was running a reception and the lady who I had checked in previously rang me and was giving a complaint about noise. And noise complaints wouldn't be uncommon. I mean, you have people kind of getting ready to go out and all this type of thing. So what piqued my interest was the fact that she mentioned children or kids. That's noise from little people, so I kind of got interested in what she was saying then. The reason why it piqued my interest was because we didn't actually have any couples with kids that had checked in. Well, I obviously didn't tell her this over the phone because I didn't want her to worry or freak out or anything. So I told her that I would check the noise out. And I hung up the phone and I took a walk down the corridor myself just to check was anyone around there. So this time the lady told me that she could hear a kid running up and down the hallway laughing and knocking on the door. So this time I went down to her door and just to check she was okay. So at this stage the lady seemed very irate. I mean, it was coming up to midnight at this stage, so I could understand where she was coming from. I apologised profusely and I told her that I would go and check the cameras just in case there was someone running around there that I wasn't aware of. So after reviewing the camera footage, I didn't actually see anything there. There was no people, no children, nothing there. So I went down to the lady and I told her that I had checked the cameras, I didn't see anything there, but if there was any more disturbances, just to give me a call. So at this stage I was walking away from the lady's door and I turned to look down this corridor. Now at the end of this corridor is a short set of steps. And on this set of steps, I could have sworn I saw a child. But then the lights went out. And I got a little bit freaked. I'd been told by an elderly resident about a boy that was usually seen on the steps. So I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised at the same time. So I went back to my desk, and now this was approaching maybe 1 a.m. and that same lady called me again. This time she said she actually saw footsteps running past her door in the light underneath her door. So she had opened her door and she looked outside, but she couldn't see anything. Now I had seen on the CCTV footage her actually opening the door and looking outside, but there was no one running past her door at any time there. So after that, the activity pretty much stopped for that night. It was all quiet, and the following morning the lady came down and had her breakfast. She seemed happy enough. The second incident was when I was down at the top of the stairs cleaning a room. So I was changing some towels in the room and I noticed that outside the hall light had gone off. So I flicked the light back on, gathered up some more towels, bringing them into the room, and as I came back out to collect another towel, the light went off again. So I went back out and switched the light on again. I assumed it was some sort of electrical short or someone was messing with the lights. So I waited just to see what would happen. And sure enough, the light went off again. That's when I saw him. The silhouette of a little boy sitting on the steps. Did it make me jump? Yes, it did. So I would be very used to seeing spirit. I didn't feel threatened, I didn't feel afraid. I knew this little boy was just trying to get attention. He was trying to play. So I stopped, I acknowledged that he was there, I told him I saw him, and I told him to behave. After that, there was no more electrical problems, for that night anyway. So after these incidents, I did get very interested in the boy's story, and I would be around a lot of the elderly residents around here. I would serve them breakfast. So I started asking if they knew anything about a little boy. 2 residents actually live on the corridor that the boy is spotted on those steps. And they confirmed what I saw. They see the same thing, they see that little boy there. There's nothing malicious about him, he's just playing, he's just having fun, he likes to have a mess and a joke. Well, rumour has it that the boy that's seen here is actually a little boy who fell off the railway bridge, which is adjacent to this building. You know, we can't confirm or deny it, we're not sure, but maybe it is, we don't know. It is nice to have a story to connect to him though. This little boy, he's not malicious, he's not evil, he's not a demon or anything like that. He's a little boy who is just lost. And I'm a mom myself, so you know, I acknowledge him and I talk to him, and I don't mind seeing him, and if he gets out of hand with the guests, I'll tell him to behave. So another story is that a young female guest checked in. So towards 2 or 3 a.m, this lady runs out of her room and runs down towards security. Claims someone's in her room. So immediately security follows her down to her room, asks her to wait outside, and he goes in and searches the place. Can't see him. So he assures her that everything's okay. She calms down, she goes back into her room. The following morning at breakfast, her story is she was in her room with her earphones in and her laptop on, listening to some music. She said the activity started when her laptop screen started closing by itself. So she kept readjusting it to the open position. After it happening a few times, she decided to switch the light on. And that's when she saw him. Facing a little boy just looking over her laptop. And obviously, she freaked. She runs out of her room, she runs down to security. So our security guy Mick goes and checks the place again, assures her that he can't see anything, there's nothing going on, but to make her feel more comfortable, he swaps her to a different room. The activity seems to stop and she has a good night's sleep. So as she was telling me this over breakfast, I asked her if she felt threatened or she felt that this was a malicious energy or anything, and she said, oh God, no, she just got a fright. And so I started relaying some stories about the boy myself, and it put her at ease and she was more relaxed then. So we've had 2 paranormal investigation teams here. I'm part of the paranormal investigation team myself, PPI, and we've all had a look at the place, we've all investigated the place. Paranormal Energy Norway are witness to the knocks and the footsteps, and the same with Gwen Clapper and Vanessa Hogel. Gwen Clapper from BPI and Vanessa Hogel is another paranormal investigator. So they have all witnessed similar things that go with the boy, which is the footsteps, the laughing, the shaking of the door handles, things like that. We've had our skeptics, and the next story is about one of those skeptics. So obviously we have security here, and our security guy Mick, he's quite the skeptic, which is a great thing because you need that balance. So one night, this is coming up to about 2 a.m, our security guy Mick, he's sitting at his desk with his laptop. It's a quiet night, not much happening. He's doing his stuff on his laptop, and all of a sudden he sees the outer door and the inner doors opening and closing by themselves. So he thinks, oh, maybe it's the wind, and he gets up to go and check. He just closes them over. Gets up to check. There doesn't seem to be any wind there, so he just goes back to his desk. So it's coming up to about 2:30. It happens again, the doors start opening and closing. Mick looks out and he thinks, in his own words, he thinks he sees a lost child. So him being a security guy, he gets up and he goes out to investigate. So he checks around the whole building, not a child to be seen. So then he starts thinking, well, maybe it's one of the residents messing with him. You know, we're no strangers here to having a laugh and a joke, you know, with each other. So he says, okay, I'm gonna try get these guys now. So it's coming up to about 3 a.m. The activity starts happening again. So Mick says, okay, I have an idea. So he takes out his phone and he takes 2 photos in quick succession of each other. So these are the actual photographs. So bear in mind, these photos were taken on a mobile phone, so there could be any sort of influence, like a reflection of something, or it could be pareidolia, but it freaked Mick out. And we add to that that the people who have seen the boy will look at these photos and confirm that it looks really, really like him. So the activity comes and goes, but I know that any playful activity around here is usually the boy. So if you ever do come to stay here and you witness any kind of playful activity, knocks on the door, giggling, it's probably the boy.